welcome back to Dukascopy TV. As usual on a Monday, I'm joined by Jean-François Owczarczak. We're going to be looking at the US dollar and how it's performing, as well as gold today. Jean-François, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me, Monica.
Now, before we begin, we do believe that congratulations are in order. You have been commended on achieving the highest grade for your certificate in the CFTE.
Yes, that's it.
So could you tell us a little bit about this and what it all entails?
Well, the CFTE is the certification for technical analysts given out by IFTA, the International Federation of Technical Analysts. And please go onto their website, ifta.org, and you'll find a whole bunch of material on educational material, as well as on the local societies of IFTA, and as well as on the certification and the education process. So please.
Great. Now, obviously, we know that you're, the brains of the of the procedure, but it's great to have it commended and acknowledged. Well done. So let's put it into practice. We're going to be looking at the US dollar, as I mentioned earlier on. All eyes on the NFP Friday. We're waiting anticipation for that. But how are we performing at the moment, would you say?
Well, it's going to be another few days before that, so let's try to see what may happen.
Okay.
And we're going to go back on our hourly mosaic, which is pretty much gives us our guidelines for the week. And so here you have all the dollar pairs: Australia dollar, Euro dollar, pound sterling, cable, New Zealand dollar, and of some that are noteworthy, you have dollar Swiss here and you have dollar yen here. And last week we had initiated a reversal. Euro dollar, for example, was moving down, and we're still pretty much on the corrective targets, and we hadn't gone impulsive yet. And I think the trigger line was around 130.80. And so we went through it, and so now we initiated an impulsive target down. And so if we go into it, you can see euro here. And so the weekly is still in a bull, it's still in a corrective move up, so not a very strong bull. So it needs a confirmation over the next few quarters. The daily was quite strong, is correcting down. You see there's no targets here, so that usually happens when you're in a sideways. And we were also here in quite a strong exaggeration of the risk index. So also pretty much a sideways situation at the moment. So the momentum up at least has been broken or halted. And if you look down on the hourly, well, we went through the corrective targets, and basically we're seeing here that there's probably another 2 weeks to go. Potential targets are in between 128.70 and 127. There's a bit of well, the risk index is in the green, so we're probably looking at an intermediate situation, probably a slight consolidation over the next few days, but in general, this trend doesn't seem to be over. Okay. And we'll probably have a look at it on the shorter term view, on the trader's view. And basically on the trader's view, also only in a correction up at the moment on the 60 minutes, only in a correction up on the 15 minutes, and moving back lower on the 4 minutes. So basically here, there's the attempt of a slight consolidation up, but it's nothing very massive at the moment, and so we would need much more confirmations in order to cast into delta hourly, which is heading down at the moment.
Okay, we will be keeping an eye on that. In terms of, will we look at gold?
Sure. Well, I'm just going to quickly go through the other dollar pairs, and it's pretty much the same story on pound sterling. We went through the corrective targets, we're moving lower. Not quite as much risk as for now on the risk index here. Same thing on dollar Swiss. There's still another few weeks up. And dollar yen has been able to make it out of the corrective targets too, and is moving higher. So pretty much confirmation of all major currencies that it's the trend that was initiated 10 days ago should continue for another 10 days to 2 weeks.
Okay, so we've got a little bit more time for that one. If we look at gold, it's gained a little bit as we enter Monday after the largest drop, a quarterly drop. So what is the charts telling us? What can we predict here?
Basically, the story seems to be that the large bank is covering its shorts. On a quarterly basis, and I'm here on the investor's view of gold, we're still negative over the next few quarters. We are a bit in the oversold territory at the moment, so an intermediate correction up is possible during the summer. It should only be an intermediate correction, and we should be expecting lower targets towards the end of the year. Now, if we look at the daily, we had been flagging that we were slowly getting into a situation where we could see an intermediate bottom. We are at stress on the envelopes. The risk index is in the green. Usually you would want to wait till this risk index starts to turn to take any risk against the trend. So it does still seem a bit too early, and so hence am I convinced that we have started this correction up? I'd probably need a bit more confirmations. The first confirmation here is probably, well, on the hourlies, we're still pointing down. We had what seems to be, for now, according to the system, only an intermediate bottom. So there's still risk here for the time being. And we really need to go to the trader's view to start seeing the correction up that we have initiated since Friday. And so here, and this is probably the most important chart on gold, is the 60 minute. And the 60 minute then make a turn. You were at stress on the risk index in the green, at stress on the envelopes, and we're in a correction up. What would be more compelling is being able to create an impulsive move up here on the 60 minutes and hence make it above 1264. And so as long as we're below this target or over the next few days, we would still consider that the trend is down, and that we're only looking at a correction up at the moment, and that there's probably one more retest before a more important move can be created over the summer.
Certainly worth a watching. But Jean-François, thank you so much for coming in and keeping us updated as usual.
Thank you very much, Monica.
Thank you. Well, that's all for Jean-François and myself. Please do click back to Dukascopy TV for the hourly updates, but goodbye for now.